Good morning. It is Tuesday, November 11th. Happy Veterans Day. I'm Whitney Turner. Thank you for joining us for Catch Up Quick, WVLT's daily fastcast, airing 10:30 in the morning, Mondays through Fridays. With the bitterly cold temperatures in the area, warming centers across East Tennessee have opened their doors. Eternal Life Harvest Center on Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue is one of them. They've increased their space to hold 45 people. Right now, warming centers say they don't have enough volunteers. Last year, the city says these shelters housed more than 400 people. But this year, the number is down by half. Some reasons for this include more transitional housing and new housing programs. But the city says without volunteers, some churches may not be able to shelter those who are most vulnerable.
This is life-saving work. Having the warming centers open means that our neighbors are not spending the night on the sidewalk. It means that they are not spending the night in the woods. And we can't do it without volunteers. And so if it's something that is tugging on your heartstrings, there are warming centers all over the county.
Warming shelters usually open December 1. If you'd like to volunteer, we've got more information inside your WVLT News app. And here are some warming shelters right now in East Tennessee. In Knoxville, Church Street United Methodist Church on Henley Street will open its doors to those in need. There's also Cokesbury Church on Kingston Pike. If you live in Blount County, First Baptist Church in Maryville offering shelter from the cold. And in Fentress, the Community House in Jamestown will be opening as a warming center as well. Well, a few roads in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park are closed this morning because of the snow and the ice. Newfound Gap Road, Cades Cove Loop Road, Laurel Creek Road, and a few others all closed. The park says they'll reevaluate conditions later today. We'll let you know when the roads open back up. And on this WVLT First Alert Weather Day, you want to have the First Alert Weather app handy. Just scan the QR code to download it on your screen. You can stay updated on the current forecast in your area. We'll also keep you up to date on any school and road closures that might occur. Well, Knoxville is holding its 100th annual Veterans Day Parade. It starts really in just a few minutes at 10:45 this morning. It's going to go down Gay Street. Because of that, some roads are closed, and they're going to stay closed until 12:30 this afternoon. You can see the closures on your screen. That includes part of Gay Street, Walnut Street, and Main Street. There are some closures on Market Street and Union Avenue as well. It's free to park in city-owned garages and on non-parade routes. Non-parade route streets, You can watch the parade live right here in your WVLT News app when it starts in just about 10 minutes under the Watch Live tab. And there are plenty of ways to celebrate veterans across the region today. We've got a list for you now in the As Seen On section of your WVLT News app or our website. That's where you can also find some deals for veterans to score today. Well, yesterday we told you that there was a light at the end of the tunnel for the government shutdown. Well, that light is a little bit brighter today. The Senate passed a bill to end the government shutdown, and House Speaker Mike Johnson is urging lawmakers to start returning to Washington to vote so the government can officially reopen. We've reached out to Congressman Tim Burchett's office. He's going to be back in D.C. tomorrow. We'll continue to keep you updated on this story as we learn more. And as the government shutdown continues, Knoxville Mayor India Kincannon is proposing an emergency ordinance to support food assistance programs. City leaders say the proposal would give $100,000 to address critical food shortages. It will be on the agenda at tonight's City Council meeting, and if it passes, United Way of Greater Knoxville says it would provide an additional $100,000 in funding for this. So we'll be sure to keep you updated. Nearly 35,000 people in Knox County rely on the SNAP program. And a change of plans for some rescue dogs that were headed to New York State. The dogs are from an animal rescue group in Louisiana. They were supposed to fly out of McGee Tyson yesterday, but the mission had to pivot because of flight delays. The group had to take the 12-hour drive from Knoxville to their new home at a shelter in West Hampton, New York. The dogs, nice and cozy in a transport van.
It's a labor of love, believe me. But every one of these are beautiful, and every one of them gets a great new chance. So
it was a team effort, certainly. Rescue Riders Pet Transport, based in Athens, Tennessee, brought the dogs up from Louisiana when a flight there was canceled. Pilots to the Rescue was going to fly them to New York when that fell through because of delays. And another animal rescue group picked up the dogs to drive them to New York. The hope is to find the dogs their forever homes.
And now, your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Belle Oliver. Well, good Tuesday morning. We have been very chilly over the past couple days here in East Tennessee. Thankfully, seeing some sunshine across Gatlinburg right now. Notice a lot of that fall foliage and even a few of those flakes, I guess, snowflakes still on the ground in Gatlinburg and those higher elevations today. Now, if you are not a fan of the cold, I am breaking good news today. It is the final day of this really Arctic air. We're going to slowly start to gradually warm up as we look towards the next couple days here, and then tracking a few chances for an isolated shower heading towards this weekend. But very cold stepping outside right now, feeling like those low 30s. Some places still holding on into the 20s because of that extra wind gust. Feeling like 24 in Knoxville right now, feeling like 19 in Jamestown and Crossville, 26 in Townsend, 31 in Madisonville. So just feeling very bitter and very blustery outside on this Tuesday. Now, these feels like temperatures not going to improve by too much heading towards that noon hour. A lot of us still feeling like the low 30s and heading towards later on this afternoon, eventually getting a little bit better, feeling like the upper 30s and low 40s. But still today, bring the jacket, bring that heavy coat and keep it on today, especially if you have any plans to hang outside for any of those Veterans Day programs. But like I said, it's the last day of cold. We'll be into the mid 40s by this afternoon, feeling more like the 30s. And then as we look towards tomorrow, temperatures back into the upper 50s, eventually reaching the low 60s by Thursday and Friday. And then finally a really nice weekend temperature wise, upper 60s. A few of us could push the low 70s by the weekend with a few isolated showers. So we still have the alert day in place. I will say we will be removing that here in the next few hours here, just because we're back on track for as long as those temperatures go. But looking towards the rest of the week, plenty of sunshine, temperatures slowly gradually warm into the low 60s by Thursday afternoon, and then a lot of us pushing the low 70s heading towards this weekend.
All right, Belle, thanks so much. Knox County's troubled juvenile detention center is now searching for a new interim director after its current one resigned. Brian Bivens is no longer with the Richard L. Bean Juvenile Detention Facility. He was appointed as interim director back over the summer. The former director, Richard L. Bean, resigned after being accused of firing 2 employees who had submitted complaints to the state over the center's operation. Commissioner Larson J. says they will discuss the next steps for the center during the Juvenile Center's board meeting on Thursday. And we reached out to Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs. He says the facility is in a much better place now than it was a few months ago, and he's confident in the current leadership team. Rolling roadblocks happening on Alcoa Highway this week. It's all because crews are blasting near Woodson Drive and Cherokee Trail. This is some video from TDOT showing that work. They say the roadblocks will be between 9 a.m. and 3 o'clock. They're spaced out to make sure traffic keeps on moving. All of this work should be done by the end of the day this Friday. Be careful of the workers. And a new report shows Knoxville is going to have the most people move here in the country next year. TDOT is trying to prepare for this by updating our busiest interstate in Tennessee, I-40, all the way from West Knoxville to Loudoun County. They want to hear from you. They say they're working on several ideas to help with congestion there. It could be fixing interchanges at Watt Road, Campbell Station, or the Way Scales. Another option could be a choice lane. There's also the possibility of building a bypass in Anderson County to help traffic flow on I-75 into Knox County. There are 2 more meetings this week from TDOT on this project. There's one tomorrow at Pellissippi State Student Center and Thursday at the Public Works Center. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office says a man is dead after a house fire and a sheriff's detective was hurt after responding to it. The TBI's Bomb and Arson Division is investigating. And the Sheriff's Office says that fire happened on Crowder Road in Madisonville yesterday afternoon. After the fire was put out, deputies found the body of an adult man after leaving the fire investigation location. A detective was involved in a crash with another car on US 411 and was taken to the hospital. The Memphis Safe Task Force has now cleared more than 1,000 warrants in the first 41 days of its operation. The task force said those included 203 firearms warrants and 264 narcotics warrants. And it's made more than 2,000 arrests of individuals on various charges. The MSTF also found 101 missing children during operations. Heads up, we've got an important recall to tell you about. A maker of infant formula is recalling all baby formula because of a connection to botulism. By Heart brand announced this morning it is pulling all of its sold products nationwide out of an abundance of caution. It comes after the FDA started investigating a wave of infant botulism cases across the U.S., with at least 15 babies sickened. You can find more in the As Seen On section of your WVLT News app. And WVLT is proud to be your official station of the Vols. A lot happening in the world of UT sports right now. Homecoming is this week for the football team. They're set to take on New Mexico State inside Neyland Stadium. They're going to be wearing a smoky gray alternate called the Volunteer Spirit. Gray helmet, gray jersey, and gray pants. The uniforms are inspired by the volunteer spirit of American military service. Saturday's matchup between the Vols and the Aggies is at 4:15. And the Lady Vols soccer team is preparing to start its journey in the NCAA tournament. Tennessee earned a number 3 seed in the tournament. They'll open play at home against North Carolina Friday. It's the 5th straight NCAA tournament appearance for the Lady Vols. Kickoff for Friday's game is set for 6 inside Regal Stadium.
We the People, celebrating 250 years of America, sponsored by Garza Law Firm.
On this date in 1620, the Mayflower Compact was signed by pilgrims. It was written and signed by most of the men on the Mayflower as they landed at Cape Cod. It established the first framework of laws and a government in the territory that is now the United States. Thank you for joining us. Remember, you can stay up to date on WVLT.tv, inside your WVLT News app, and on WVLT social media pages. We'll have your top headlines here at noon.